Yo, man, what's good, man? It's your boy Dino YG. Can get this channel right here, Dirty Creed Sports, man. And I'm back with a special stream of this College Hoops 2K8. Right here, what we got is the Selection Sunday show, right? Shout out to Fresno State for winning their conference tournament. Maryland got put out. Washington State got put out. And oh yeah, Howard won theirs too. So shout out to Bulldog, my little cousin Marcus Curtis. You know what I'm saying? He won his tournament. Shout out to him. He was the player of the game for that championship game. So shout out to the little bro. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna get into a special stream, like I said, of this college hoops. This is the Selection Sunday show. This right here, this ain't nothing but finding out who the fuck gonna be in the tournament, who we gonna thump and bump with, who Washington State gonna thump and bump with, who Maryland, Howard, them dudes. Cause man, I'm trying to see it go down in the land of where it's at, man. So we ain't gonna get to do too much, man. We gonna get into this. Let y'all see this motherfucker. And then also we got 2 NCAA tournament games tonight and shit. They kicking off tonight. So yeah, we about to go on and do this motherfucker. So here we go. So oh yeah, before we get into this, right? Like I said, watch this, right? Fill your brackets out. Every team that you see on the bracket you think will advance, put them in the next bracket. Fill your whole bracket out from first round to championship round. And whoever gets it right, the national championship, they're winning. My thing is, like I said, I don't give a fuck how your bracket is filled out. I don't give a fuck if you got the wrong losers, right? But if you got the right national champion to win it all, then you get $20 in your cash app. Best believe that. But here we go with this.
With the anchor desk with my partner Clark Kellogg, bringing you the 2K Sports NCAA Selection Show. We're all set to show you the seeding and pairings, so get out your bracket sheet, get those pencils ready. Here are the basics. Of the 65 available tournament bids, 31 are automatically given to conference champions. The tournament committee hands out the remaining 34 bids on an at-large basis. An opening round game will take place on Tuesday night to narrow the field to 64 teams. Before we get into the brackets for the upcoming tournament, let's take a look at the final top 25 media polls. There's at least one change in the rankings to tell you about. A new team has made the top 25 this week. The Marquette Golden Eagles are back in the poll as the number 21 team. The poll voters have had their say in the national rankings since November. Time has come to hand over the reins to the selection committee. It's time to talk about the topic that has a lot of players and coaches holding their breath right now, the NCAA tournament bubble. These are the 10 teams that aren't worried as much about where they'll be playing as if they'll be playing. Clark, who jumps out at you there?
Utah State can take comfort in the fact that there have been so many great showings by non-power conference schools in the tournament in the past few years. The committee has really warmed up to those conferences.
You got that right, and who else might be in the same position?
Nevada had the chance to set themselves apart from the rest of the bubble team, but they never could get over that hump and guarantee themselves a spot.
I'm sure it's been a long week for those teams, but the wait's almost over. The NCAA Selection Committee has finished its meeting, and we're ready to unveil the top 4 seeds in this year's tournament. The Fresno State Bulldog are the top overall seed, and they will play in the East Region. On to the second number 1 seed, who will play in the South Regional. The North Carolina Tar Heels are seeking their 5th NCAA championship in school history. The Georgia Tech Yellowjackets are our 3rd number 1 seed, and they'll play in the Midwest Regional. They're back in the tournament again, and no doubt they'll be feeding off the experience of last year's appearance as they try to get to the Final Four this year. And finally, our 4th number 1 seed will play in the West Region. The Vanderbilt Commodore are in the tournament field as a number 1 seed for the first time in the history of their program. Now, here's how the brackets shape up based on where the number 1 seeds have been assigned. In one national semifinal game, the winner of the East Regional will play the winner of the South Regional. In the other semifinal game, the winner of the Midwest Regional will play the winner of the West Regional. Those games will be played on Saturday, April 5th. Then we'll be on to the national championship game on Monday night, April 7th. Anything shocking to you about those picks?
Well, when you see the selection committee deviate from the top 4 teams in the media poll, It's a little surprising. They've opened themselves up to some criticism with these picks.
So, with the number 1 seeds out of the way, it's finally time to tackle the rest of the bracket. First up, we take a look at the East Regional. The Fresno State Bulldogs are the top seed, finishing at 29-4. They won both the regular season and conference tournament titles.
Coming home to play.
They will take on the winner of the opening round play-in game between Siena with 14 wins and Memphis from the Southwestern Athletic Conference. And now, the number 8 seed, the Clemson Tigers, come into the tournament as the 4th place team in their conference during the regular season and were losers in their first game at their conference tournament. They're going to play the number 9 seed, the Connecticut Huskies, who were 6th in their conference, finishing at 22-11. New Mexico State comes in as the number 5 seed, finishing at 26-7. And they will take on the 12th seed from the ACC, the Miami Hurricanes, with 19 wins. Gonzaga enters the field as the number 4 seed from the West Coast Conference. This will be their 11th appearance ever in the NCAA tournament. They'll be getting ready to face the number 13 seed. The Valparaiso Crusaders finished the season with 22 wins.
The Gonzaga Bulldogs will be an extremely dangerous team in this tournament, mainly because they have such terrific veteran leadership. Coaches love when they have guys on the floor that have been around the block a few times because they don't get rattled. They play with composure. I look at the experience of this team as something that could put them over the top.
The George Mason Patriots are in as the number 6 seed. They'll be taking on the number 11 seed, the Texas Tech Red Raiders, with 21 wins. LSU comes in as the number 3 seed, finishing at 25-8. Tennessee State comes in to face them at number 14 with 19 wins in the tournament championship of the Ohio Valley Conference. Our number 7 seed is from the Big East. The Louisville Cardinals were rewarded for their outstanding play this season with an at-large bid and a ticket to the Big Dance. They are going to play the number 10 seed, the Brown Bears, who came in first in their conference tournament, finishing at 20-8. Next up is the number 2 seed. The Kansas Jayhawks are the regular season champions from the Big 12. They'll be going up against the number 15 seed, the Wofford Terriers, with 21 wins. This marks their first appearance ever in the NCAA tournament. What a tremendous regional final we'd have in this bracket if the number 1 and 2 seeds here make it through the first 3 rounds unscathed. That could be one of the games of the tournament. Next up, we'll take a look at the South Regional. The North Carolina Tar Heels are the top seed, finishing at 29-4. They were winners of the regular season championship in the ACC. They'll take on the Portland State Vikings, the number 16 ranked team. This marks their first appearance all time in the NCAA tournament. Georgia comes in as the number 8 seed, finishing at 16-12. Utah comes in to face them at number 9 with 20 wins and the regular season championship of the Mountain West Conference. Indiana enters the field as the number 5 seed from the Big Ten. It's yet another appearance in the brackets for a school that's no stranger to the NCAA tournament. They'll be getting ready to face the number 12 seed, the Wagner Seahawks. Finished the season with 24 wins.
The Indiana Hoosiers are going to provide serious matchup problems to any team that doesn't have depth and defensive ability at both guard spots. They have outstanding backcourt play at both ends of the court. It's the main reason they've made it this far, and they're going to have to maintain that form if they want to do some damage in this tournament.
Cal comes in as the number 4 seed, finishing at 21-9. And they'll take on the 13th seed from the Missouri Valley Conference, the Illinois State Redbirds, with 20 wins. And now the number 6 seed, the Alabama Crimson Tide, come into the tournament 6th in their conference during the regular season and were quarterfinalists in their conference tournament. They are going to play the number 11 seed, the Duquesne Dukes, who were semifinalists in their conference tournament, finishing at 21-10. The Arizona Wildcats are in as the number 3 seed. They'll be taking on the number 14 seed, the Titans of Cal State Fullerton, with 20 wins. Next up is the number 7 seed. The Baylor Bears have established themselves as one of the best teams from the Big 12. They'll be going up against the number 10 seed, the Oregon Ducks, with 18 wins. This marks their 10th appearance in the NCAA tournament in the history of their school. Our number 2 seed is from the Big East. The Georgetown Hoyas had a tremendous year that included a regular season championship. They're going to play the number 15 seed, the South Alabama Jaguars, who came in first in their conference tournament, finishing at 20-10. On the surface, I'd have to say this regional might be the most difficult of the 4. Certainly the depth of quality teams here is very impressive. Whoever emerges from this bracket will have been through some battles. On to our third bracket of the day. Let's take a look at the Midwest region. The Georgia Tech Yellowjackets are the top seed, finishing at 20-7. They finished second in the ACC. They'll take on the VMI Cadets, the number 16 ranked team. This marks their fourth appearance in the NCAA tournament in the history of their school. Our number 8 seed is from the ACC. The North Carolina State Wolfpack were rewarded for their outstanding play this season with an at-large bid and a ticket to the big game. They're going to play the number 9 seed, the Washington State Cougars, who finished second in their conference tournament, finishing at 20-13. The Florida State Seminoles are in as the number 5 seed. They'll be taking on the number 12 seed, the Vermont Catamounts, with 23 wins. St. Louis enters the field as the number 4 seed from the A-10 Conference. This will be their 8th appearance in the NCAA tournament in the history of their school. They'll be getting ready to face the number 13 seed, the Brigham Young Cougars, finished the season with 21 wins.
The St. Louis Pelicans have more to prove than any other team in this tournament. They haven't had a lot of experience in the tournament recently, so it's difficult to say exactly how they'll handle it. They've shown they're capable of playing with the best teams in the nation during the regular season. Now they need to show they belong with those teams come tournament time.
UCLA comes in as the number 6 seed, finishing at 19-13. As they take on the 11th seed from the West Coast Conference, the Pepperdine Wave, with 21 wins. And now the number 3 seed, the Tennessee Volunteers, come into the tournament after finishing second in their conference during the regular season and were losers in their first game at their conference tournament. They are going to play the number 14 seed, the Howard Bison, who came in first in their conference tournament, finishing at 24-10. Next up is the number 7 seed, the Kentucky Wildcats, have established themselves as one of the best teams from the SEC. They'll be going up against the number 10 seed, the Virginia Cavaliers, with 17 wins. They return once more to the very familiar surroundings of the NCAA tournament. Texas A&M comes in as the number 2 seed, finishing at 25-7. Campbell comes in to face them at number 15 with 20 wins. The tournament and regular season championships of the Atlantic Sun Conference. There are going to be some incredible matchups in the later rounds of this bracket. If the top seeds can avoid the early upset, we can look forward to some real heavyweight battles. And finally, let's have a look at the West Regional. The Vanderbilt Commodore are the top seed, finishing at 27-7. They were conference tournament champions in the SEC. They'll take on the James Madison Dukes, the number 16 ranked team. This will be their 5th appearance ever in the NCAA tournament. Next up is the number 8 seed, the Texas Longhorns, are the conference tournament champions from the Big 12. They'll be going up against the number 9 seed, the Temple Owls, with 19 wins. They return once more to the very familiar surroundings of the NCAA tournament. Marquette comes in as the number 5 seed, finishing at 23-10. And they will take on the 12th seed from the West, the Utah State Aggies, with 22 wins. Michigan State comes in as the number 4 seed, finishing at 26-7. Nicholls State comes in to face them at number 13 with 19 wins in the tournament championship of the Southland Conference. Our number 6 seed is from the ACC. The Duke Blue Devils were rewarded for their outstanding play this season with an at-large bid and a ticket to the big game. They are going to play the number 11 seed, the Nevada Wolfpack, who were semifinalists in their conference tournament, finishing at 18-12. The Arkansas Razorbacks are in as the number 3 seed. They'll be taking on the number 14 seed, the Lafayette Leopards, with 20 wins. And now the number 7 seed, the Western Michigan Broncos, come into the tournament first in their conference during the regular season and were winners of their conference tournament. They are going to play the number 10 seed, the UC Irvine Anteaters, who were semifinalists in their conference tournament, finishing at 21-8. Memphis enters the field as the number 2 seed from Conference USA. This is their 21st appearance in the NCAA tournament in the history of their school. They'll be getting ready to face the number 15 seed, the Jaguars from IUPUI, finished the season with 18 wins.
The Memphis Tigers are a team that is just so powerful and strong up front. I would put their front court up against just about any other teams in the nation right now. It's always good to have strong guard play, but if you ask most coaches, I guarantee you they take the good big man over the good little man most times. Their interior play should serve them very well in this competition.
Some of the lower seeds in this bracket have the ability to not only compete with the high seeds, but win a few games. Potential for a Cinderella or two in this bracket is definitely there. Clark, give us your take on the tournament's top 16 seeds.
There are no real off-the-wall picks that jump out at me. These 16 teams are all pretty deserving. Let's give the committee some props this year. Texas A&M.
This doesn't strike me as a team that can go very deep in the tournament. Basketball is a game of matchups, and I feel that they don't match up well with the teams in their particular bracket.
Now, let's see how the conference representation fares. The ACC gets 8 teams. The SEC with 7, 6 out of the Pac-10. The Big 12 gets 5 teams.
It was really a terrific year for the teams in the WAC. They topped the non-power conferences with the number of bids they got, and it shows you how far this conference has come. They're becoming dominant at that level.
And let's not forget the teams out of the Big West. For a small conference, they competed at a very high level this year. Those teams could be the place to look if you're trying to find a Cinderella story in the tournament.
I'm surprised there were so few bids for the teams in Conference USA. It was an especially disappointing year for that conference. Usually you can count on a few of the nation's elite teams coming out of there. But this was a season where very few of those teams could maintain any type of positive momentum.
Let's come back to the bubble teams that we mentioned earlier in the show and see which of the teams were able to get into the tournament.
Duquesne played in one of the power conferences, and that counts for a few extra wins in the eyes of the NCAA, whether it's right or not. But let's not take anything away from them. They had a nice year.
While those teams are celebrating getting into the tournament, let's take a look at the other teams who were on the short end of the stick.
Colorado
did not have a strong finish to the season, and it cost them an NCAA tournament bid. That just goes to show you how much weight the committee places on how you're playing at the end of the season.
All right, Clark, now that we know all the teams and matchups, time to get the tournament underway and let the madness take over.
Greg, it's going to be a fantastic tournament. We've got an outstanding field and a lot of sensational players. I guarantee there are some memorable moments soon to come.
For my partner, Clark Kellogg, and for all of us here in the 2K Sports Studio, I'm Greg Gumbel. Thanks for joining us on the NCAA Selection Show, brought to you by State Farm, the #1 auto insurer. Enjoy all the excitement of the NCAA tournament.
All right, now that was a Selection Sunday show. See who's in, see who's out. Now, if I'm not mistaken, they were left out. If I'm not mistaken, they were left out. And Maryland got left out. Yeah, Maryland, they didn't get enough wins, 16 and 13. So shout out to Maryland. Sorry that it went down like that. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully we have a better year next year. And I think they will. You know what I'm saying? I hopefully they will. But Howard got in their first game was Tennessee. And I'm just sitting. Oh, hold up. No, Washington State did get in. Oh, okay. Hold on, where they at? I'm about to check this. But that's a Selection Sunday show. So 3 teams did get in. I apologize for Washington State. I was like, hold on, how can you be the 9th ranked team with 20 and 13 and not get in? So this is about to be a very interesting tournament. So tonight, it'll be the first 2 games of the NCAA tournament. And after that, we're going to kick that shit off like some real proper live. You feel me? All right. We'll see y'all fellas tonight. Peace.